We need to stop driving. Our world is in the throes of an environmental crisis, with climate change having catastrophic effects on it, affecting our ability to grow crops for food, causing drought and water shortages, and with ocean levels rising, the security of our homes is at risk. As a result of all this, we can expect to look forward to economic decline, societal unrest, and possibly even war. Transportation is one of the highest contributors to greenhouse gases. Within the transportation sector, it is private motor cars that are the greatest contributor. In industrialized first world countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, the US and all the rest, car ownership per head of population is high, which means that there are a huge number of vehicles on the road every day, each giving out greenhouse gases. As of today, the vast majority of these vehicles are powered by fossil fuels, not electricity. So one of the main culprits of climate change is the motor car. We know we need to do something to stop this environmental crisis, and often wonder what we as individuals can do. But the good news is, the power is in our hands by the lifestyle choices we make. Reducing our driving is a way to personally do something about it. Now, on a personal level, there are benefits to driving over other forms of transportation. However, these benefits are now just about irrelevant due to the catastrophic effect on the climate that these vehicles are having. So, what we need to do now is stop driving, and to help us do this, we need to focus on the benefits of changing to these other forms of transportation. Now you may well ask, okay, what about electric cars? Why can't everyone who drives a petrol or gasoline or diesel car simply change to an electric car? There are several problems with this. Number one, it's not going to happen overnight. There are thousands of fossil fuel cars out on the roads today. There are currently not enough electric cars to replace them. Number two, electric cars are today more expensive than fossil fuel cars, so the vast majority of drivers simply can't afford them. Number three, the electricity required to power all these electric cars is simply not available. Cars use a lot of power, and if everyone currently using a fossil fuel car were to switch to electric, our power companies would not be able to provide the electricity we'd need to power them. Number four, the electricity used to power electric cars is not guaranteed to be carbon neutral. Many power plants still use oil, coal and other non-clean energy. So electric cars are not actually a solution to the climate change crisis. Number five, furthermore, even the manufacture of cars has a big environmental impact. Producing the rubber for the tyres, the steel for the bodywork, the upholstery for the seats and so on. These all use resources that add to climate change. So switching to electric cars means producing a whole load of new cars, and that in itself would cause an environmental impact. So we need to stop driving and change to other forms of transport. I will firstly focus on the personal reasons why we might stop driving. Then secondly, the benefits to society as a whole that a reduction in cars will have. I will then focus on each of the other most common forms of transportation and the benefits that each of them has over driving, that is, walking, cycling and public transport. Let's start with the personal reasons. Number one, saving money. Cars are very expensive to own, both in their initial purchase and in the ongoing costs, which include regular maintenance costs, repair costs, tax and insurance. If you add it all up, it costs around on average $11,000 per year to own a car in Canada, about £13,000 in the United Kingdom, and around $8,500 a year in the USA. Compare this to the cost for the alternative forms of transport, and you are guaranteed to save a lot of money by not owning your own car. For example, here in Vancouver, where I live in Canada, it costs about only $1,200 per year to travel by public transport. Number 2, their danger to our lives. In Canada in 2017, 1,841 people died in motor vehicle accidents and 9,960 were seriously injured. In the United Kingdom, 1,710 people died in such accidents, and in the US, 40,100 people died in motor vehicle accidents in that same year. Now here's the paradox. In most developed countries today, we live in very safe, conscious societies. There are lots of rules and regulations about safety that we follow in the workplace, and quite right too, and also in our homes, and also the restrictions we place on our children's activities. Yet the one place where this all goes out of the window is when we get into a motor vehicle. Most drivers drive over the speed limit, endangering the safety of themselves, family members or other passengers travelling with them, and everyone else out on the road. People take risks when driving that endanger the safety of others. This is why so many people are injured or killed on the road, and why it is one of the most dangerous activities in today's society. Cars make our neighbourhoods unsafe. Reducing the number of cars on the roads makes the places we live in safer and more pleasant. Number 3, health reasons. We're breathing these noxious gases. As we're driving, we're right next to a combustion engine, breathing its gases. Plus we're breathing the gases of all the vehicles around us. And then there's their noise. Noise makes us irritable and makes neighbourhoods unpleasant places to live in. They also make us lazy, and we suffer from health problems as a result. Because of the motorcar lifestyle, many people are not getting the exercise a human being typically needs. As a result, to compensate for this, people go to gyms. Now these are a bizarre concept. People drive to the gym, which gives off more greenhouse gases, then spend their time there simply burning off energy, then driving home again. The gyms themselves use a lot of power and lighting to run, which also contributes to green climate change. If people just walked and cycled more instead of using cars, then we wouldn't need to go to gyms to burn off all this excess body fat in the first place. And then there's stress. Driving is generally a very stressful business. Drivers get irritable and impatient with other road users. They honk their horns or shout at each other. It's interesting, once behind the steering wheel of a car, many people who would normally be quite calm and controlled behave very differently, showing a much darker side to their personality. It's not good for us to live this way. Now let's have a look at societal reasons. Cars have negative effects on communities. Now, roads built for cars generally divide up communities. A wide main road divides one side of the neighbourhood from the other, and you have this difficulty getting from one side of the road to the other. Even a small residential street can get busy and make it difficult just to walk from one side to the other. A second negative impact on communities is that we no longer know our neighbours. Because it's so easy to do so, we tend to travel across town to connect with people who live far from us. These connections in themselves are good, but we're not connecting with our neighbours. Children, and adults too, are better off getting to know their neighbours to create pleasant and safe communities. Roads are noisy and unpleasant. Who likes noisy streets? Whether we are at home, out shopping, or just relaxing and socialising, the experience is way more pleasant if it's quieter. Cars are designed for fast speeds, totally unsuited for our neighbourhoods where children are playing. Fast cars do not mix well with cyclists and pedestrians.